You ever look at a newborn baby? Really look at one. They're kind of useless. That sounds harsh, but it's true. They can't walk, they can't talk, they can't even hold their own head up. They cry, they eat, they sleep, and they fill a diaper. That's about it. If you left a human baby alone for a day, it would die. It's a brutal thought, but it's the reality of their complete and total helplessness. Now think about other animals. A baby giraffe is on its feet within an hour of being born. It has to be. Lions are around. A foal can run with the herd not long after it hits the ground. A duckling hatches, dries off, and immediately starts following its mother, swimming and pecking for food. Even our closest relatives, chimpanzees, have infants that can cling to their mother's fur from day one. They are active participants in their own survival. So what's wrong with us? Why are human babies born so profoundly unprepared for the world? It seems like a massive evolutionary blunder. For a species that considers itself the top of the food chain, we start out as the most pathetic creatures imaginable. The answer isn't a mistake, it's a compromise. A very difficult, very dangerous, and very necessary compromise. Our helplessness is the price we pay for our greatest asset, our massive brain. And the story of this compromise starts a few million years ago, when our ancestors decided to stand up. Walking on two legs changed everything. It's what started us down the path to being human. And bipedalism, as scientists call it, had huge advantages. It freed up our hands. With free hands, we could carry food, carry tools, and eventually make tools. We could carry our children. Walking upright is also incredibly energy efficient for covering long distances. Our ancestors could roam the savannah, looking for food and avoiding predators, without burning as many calories as a knuckle-walking ape. It was a game changer, but it came with a cost. A hidden anatomical cost that would have enormous consequences for childbirth. To walk efficiently on two legs, our pelvis had to change shape. In a chimpanzee, the pelvis is long and narrow. It's built for climbing and moving on all fours. In humans, the pelvis became shorter, broader, and more bowl-shaped. This new shape provided the support needed for our internal organs and the stability required to balance on 2 feet. It worked beautifully for locomotion. The problem is, the pelvis is also the thing a baby has to pass through to be born. The birth canal runs right through the middle of it. By making the pelvis better for walking, evolution made it narrower for birthing. The opening became more constricted. For a long time, this wasn't a huge issue. Our early ancestors, like the famous Lucy, had brains not much bigger than a modern chimpanzee's. Their babies' heads were small enough to pass through this newly redesigned pelvis without too much trouble. But at the same time, our pelvis was shrinking for walking. Another evolutionary pressure was at work. Our brains started to grow, and they didn't just grow a little, they exploded. From the small brain of an Australopithecus to the slightly larger brain of Homo habilis, the toolmaker. Then to the even larger brain of Homo erectus, who learned to control fire and spread out of Africa. And finally to us, Homo sapiens, with our gigantic, wrinkled, energy-guzzling brains. This big brain is our superpower. It allows us to use language, to plan for the future, to create complex social structures, to invent technology, and to ask questions about why our babies are so helpless. Our intelligence is the reason we dominate the planet. It's our primary survival tool. So now you can see the conflict. Evolution was pushing in two opposite directions at once. One pressure was for a narrow pelvis to make us excellent long-distance walkers. The other pressure was for a giant brain to make us incredibly smart. You have a massive head trying to squeeze through an increasingly narrow passage. This is what's known as the obstetrical dilemma. It's the central paradox of human birth. Something had to give. If human babies stayed in the womb until they were as developed as a baby chimp, their heads would be far too large to ever make it through the birth canal. Childbirth would be impossible. The mother would die, the baby would die, and our species would have ended right there. Evolution found a loophole, a messy, imperfect, but workable solution. The answer was to give birth earlier. Much earlier. A human baby is born when its head is just barely small enough to squeeze through its mother's pelvis. And even then, it's an incredibly difficult and dangerous process. The baby has to twist and turn its head in a very specific way to navigate the tight passage, something no other primate has to do. This is why human childbirth is so much longer, more painful, and more risky than birth in any other species. So, a human baby is not born helpless by accident. It is born prematurely on purpose. It is pushed out of the womb not because it's ready for the world, but because if it stayed any longer, it wouldn't be able to get out at all. Think of it this way. A human pregnancy is technically supposed to be about 21 months long. We get 9 months inside the womb, and then we get about 12 months outside the womb. That first year of life is essentially an external gestation period. The baby is still a fetus in a way. Its brain and body are finishing the development that other mammals complete inside the safety of the womb. This is sometimes called the fourth trimester. During this fourth trimester, the baby's brain undergoes a period of explosive growth. A newborn's brain is only about 25% of its adult size. By its first birthday, it will have more than doubled, reaching about 60%. This is a staggering amount of development happening out in the open air, exposed to the world. This is the root of a baby's helplessness. Its brain isn't finished. The connections aren't all there. The cerebral cortex, the part responsible for voluntary movement and conscious thought, is still a construction site. The baby's nervous system is so immature it can't even regulate its own body temperature properly. It can't control its limbs, it can't support its own neck. It's a brain and a life support system we call a baby. This early birth has profound consequences that ripple out and shape almost every aspect of what it means to be human. It's not just about the baby, it's about the parents, it's about the family. It's about society itself, because the baby is so helpless it requires an incredible amount of care. Constant, vigilant, round-the-clock care. A mother cannot give birth, set her baby down, and go gather some nuts and berries. She is completely tied to this tiny, demanding creature. She has to carry it, feed it, protect it from predators, and keep it warm. This is a massive burden, one that is almost impossible to bear alone, and that changes human social dynamics completely. It creates an intense pressure for cooperation. A mother with a newborn needs help. She needs a partner to bring her food. She needs a family to help protect her and the child. Well, she needs a tribe. Our baby's helplessness forced us to become more social, more cooperative, and more reliant on each other. It's the evolutionary glue that helped bind our early communities together. This also likely played a huge role in the development of human pair bonding. In most primate species, males are not heavily involved in raising offspring. But in the human lineage, a father who stuck around and provided resources and protection for the mother and child would have a huge evolutionary advantage. His children would be more likely to survive. This long period of infant dependency created a powerful incentive for long-term relationships between males and females. The helpless baby may be one of the original reasons for the human family unit. It goes even further. Some scientists have proposed what they call the grandmother hypothesis. This theory tries to explain why human females live so long past their reproductive years. In most species, life ends when you can no longer reproduce. But human women can live for decades after menopause. Why? The grandmother hypothesis suggests that these older, experienced women were a crucial resource. They weren't having more babies of their own, so they could dedicate their time and energy to helping their daughters raise their helpless grandchildren. They knew where to find food, how to handle a sick baby, and how to navigate the social world. A grandmother's help could literally mean the difference between life and death for her grandchildren, ensuring her own genes were passed on. Again, the baby's helplessness shapes the entire structure of our society, so being born so underdeveloped is dangerous and demanding. It requires immense social support. But there's another side to it, a massive world-changing upside. Because the human brain does so much of its development outside the womb, it develops in response to the world around it. An animal born with a more developed brain, like a horse, is hardwired with instincts. A foal knows how to stand, how to walk, how to run, and how to nurse almost immediately. Its brain is pre-programmed for a specific environment and a specific way of life. It's efficient, but it's not very flexible. A human baby's brain, on the other hand, is incredibly plastic. It's like a powerful computer that comes with the hardware installed, but very little software. The software gets written by experience. As the baby sees faces, hears voices, feels touch, and tastes food, its brain builds itself. The connections, the synapses, form in response to its environment. This is what allows humans to be so incredibly adaptable. We are not born with the instinct to hunt mammoths on a frozen tundra. We are not born with the instinct to farm rice in a wet paddy. We are not born with the instinct to write computer code in a city. We learn these things. A human baby born in the Amazon rainforest will learn to navigate the jungle and speak Yanomami. That same baby, if adopted and raised in downtown Tokyo, will learn to navigate the subway system and speak Japanese. The hardware is the same. The software is written by the culture it's born into. Our helplessness is the price of our flexibility. We trade innate skills for the ability to learn anything. A baby's brain isn't just growing, it's being custom molded by its specific time and place in the world. This is the foundation of culture. Culture is the vast body of knowledge, beliefs, and behaviors that we learn and pass down through generations. So language, art, religion, technology, all of this is possible because we are born with brains that are open and ready to be shaped by the world rather than being born with a fixed set of instructions. So, when you see a helpless baby, you are seeing the result of a profound evolutionary trade-off. You are looking at the consequence of walking upright and having a big brain. The baby's fragility is the reason we have strong family bonds and cooperative societies. Its empty mind is the reason we have rich, diverse cultures all over the globe. The entire human strategy is built on this foundation. We don't survive because we are fast or strong. We survive because we are smart and we work together, and both of those traits are directly linked to the bizarre fact that we are born about a year too early. Think about the process of learning to walk. For a human, it's a monumental achievement that takes a year or more. It's a slow, clumsy process of trial and error. A baby learns to control its head, then to roll over, then to sit up, then to crawl, and finally to take those first wobbly steps. Each stage is a major developmental milestone. For a giraffe, it's a 10-minute scramble. This long, slow development isn't a flaw, it's a feature. During that year, the baby's brain is meticulously mapping out the complex neural pathways needed for the incredibly difficult task of balancing on 2 feet. It's learning, not just following a pre-written program. The same is true for language. A human baby spends months just listening. It babbles, coos, and experiments with sound. It is absorbing the specific phonetic rules and vocabulary of the language being spoken around it. Its brain is physically changing to accommodate that language. No other animal has a communication system as complex and flexible as human language. And it's only possible because we are born with brains that are ready to learn, not brains that already know. This long period of dependency also forges incredibly powerful emotional bonds. The constant need for care, for feeding, for comfort, for protection creates a deep attachment between the child and its caregivers. This bond is essential for the child's psychological development. It provides the sense of security needed for the brain to grow properly and for the child to feel safe enough to explore the world. These deep, early attachments form the blueprint for all our future relationships. Our capacity for love, empathy, and deep social connection is rooted in the reality of our early, total dependence on others. It's easy to romanticize this, but it's important to remember how risky this strategy is. For most of human history, infancy was an incredibly dangerous time. A premature, helpless baby is extremely vulnerable to disease, to cold, to predators, and to malnutrition. High infant mortality rates have been the norm for our species until very recently in our history. The evolutionary bet was that the long-term benefits of a big, flexible brain would outweigh the terrifying risks of a fragile infancy. For our species as a whole, that bet paid off spectacularly, but for countless individual parents throughout history, the price of that bet was heartbreak. So, we are creatures of paradox. We are the most dominant species on the planet, yet we begin our lives as the most defenseless. Our greatest strength, our intelligence, is born from our greatest vulnerability. Our independence as adults is built on a foundation of total dependence as children. Our ability to create complex global societies is rooted in the simple, primal need of a single mother and her helpless child for support from their community. When you strip it all down, the reason a human baby can't do anything for itself is because it's busy doing the most important thing a human ever does, building a brain. It's assembling the neural architecture that will allow it one day to learn, to love, to create, to innovate, and to pass its knowledge on to the next generation of helpless babies. It's a messy, inefficient, and dangerous way to build a person. It demands a huge investment of time, energy, and emotion from parents and society. But it works. It's the secret to our success. The next time you see a newborn looking so fragile and small, remember that you're not looking at a flaw in our design. You're looking at the very thing that makes us human. You're looking at the beginning of everything.